Hello, my name is J.M. Erlinson, and I'm here today to tell you a little bit more about how we can model in ARIS and get started on our process journey. Now, I'm here in ARIS Connect. Obviously, I'm using a web browser to allow me to access this dynamic modeling repository. And today we're going to create a model from scratch, something you might just get started with and add a few different elements that help describe not just the flow of how the process is going, but also reusing organizational and application elements to help contextualize how each step is performed. To do that, I'm going to create a new model, and you'll see it'll give me a couple of different options, things like library models, like an application system type diagram, something that would keep a list of our applications, or a customer journey map, seeing how our customers interact with our processes, or organizational charts to see how our organization is structured and which positions, which roles exist. But for today, I'm going to use EPC, or Event-Driven Process Chain, one of the ways you can build a process model. Now let me just give it a name, let's say test, and I'll start this up. Now, what we're going to see on the left side of the screen is a series of options on a dynamic and configurable symbol palette. These are the kinds of information you can place, an event being a trigger or an outcome, a function being something like a process step, and you'll see as we go. On the right side, we see details about every step and about the whole model, so I can have a configurable list of metadata that I can capture about every model, every object, and every connection. Let's start us off with an event. So here is start the process. Now, one thing I can do is as I go, I can hit this plus button to add new information, or I can just continue to pull from the left side and add it however I'd like. Hey, I'm going to add a role over here. And as I connect things together, I'm also prompted with the right kinds of connections based on what I'm looking for. So carries out sort of RACI, the regular RACI convention of how a role can connect to a process step. And so I can use this manual modeling technique to quickly and easily build my model from scratch, adding names along the way and adding details about each step. So I'm going to go in and say a little bit more about the description of this step and say, this is the first step. Now, I can also do this much more easily using a built-in modeling table. Now, what that modeling table is it's a configurable set of columns that each describe something about a process step. The first one being the name, and then everything else being things like descriptions or who does it or which application system they use. Let's use that here. I'm going to add a step down here and say I want to, this is my step 3. And then I'm going to say, well, who does it? I'm going to pull an accountant from my library of roles, which is built in the database, maintained, dynamically updated. And I'm going to dynamically pull that in here and reuse it on my model, connecting that object with the rest of the world of process modeling. Now I'm going to pull in an application doing the same thing, type in Pro. It's going to type ahead for me, autocomplete what I'm looking for, something like Pro Order. You can see it's starting to build up these satellites. Now everything you see here is completely configurable, and so you can choose exactly what you want to do at every point in time. But let's end this process for now. Let's bring in our end event, and you see in just a matter of moments, I've built a process with a little bit of description, a little bit of role context, a little bit of application context, and now I'm ready to do things like reporting, analysis. I'm ready to collaborate on this, build a whole community of people talking about this. I can even validate it with automatic semantic checks to say, hey, did you do this right? And I can run these checks to make sure that my modeling has been done correctly. So there's a whole powerhouse engine underneath everything we do, but it starts at the very top with simple and easy modeling. Fast to learn, fast to use, that is ARIS.